In today's section of the Good Night podcast, we will be going over a very historical part of America, which was the first initial settlers of the Northeast. I, Jake Biafore, along with Nathan Macfarlane and Lucas Masson, will review this section of today's podcast. Today we will be going over the specific decisions made by the most important people, like Roger Williams, to make progress of our country, as well as the conflicts that their decisions brought to the indigenous tribes. Our first claim is Masson is a great place to settle and start a colony. Why is this, Lucas?
So, my evidence is Masson was one of the most productive ecosystems in America at the time. There's freshwater springs that ran through the fields, keeping them irrigated with periodic flooding to ensure the fertility of them. The Woonasquatucket River was filled with salmon, and the salt coves piled up with quahogs. This location looked like it was heaven on earth. This may be the reason why Roger Williams chose to settle here.
So Lucas, how does this explain the experiences and perspectives of indigenous persons may have differed from those from the governments?
Roger Williams thought the land was originally like that, but the natives planned, crafted, and maintained the ecosystem at Masson for thousands of years. They planted crops in fields, managed forests with controlled burns, removed barriers that allowed fish to spawn upstream, and create rock ledges and bays to stimulate shellfish gathering.
Advancing to Nathan's claim, which is the colonial leadership had officially banished Williams in October 1635 because of his new and dangerous opinions against the authority of the magistrates. Why is this, Nate?
When Williams and his followers arrived in Masson, they were in a desperate situation with nowhere else to go, which forced colonial leadership to have to ban Williams and his followers.
So Nathan, how does this explain how the experiences and perspectives of indigenous persons may have differed from those from the government?
This shows that the truly fucking.
We had it.
Nah, just cut it. Just start here.
Alright,
I read this.
you're good.
I remember typing this.
So Nathan, how did wait, hold up.
Mm-hmm.
So Nathan, how does this So Nathan, how does this explain the experiences and perspectives of indigenous persons that may have differed from those of the government?
This shows that the government wasn't truly thinking about what the natives thought about their home at all, and were only focused on their own succession. The fact that they weren't concerned with the natives in this situation shows how they were inconsiderate with the situation as a whole.
So how does this explain how the experiences and perspectives of indigenous persons may have differed from those of the government?
I have my evidence, but I'll let Nate explain this one.
Yep, I get it. The government's perspective on the Narragansetts was that they were going to be a big obstacle if they would try to settle there. This is why they have excluded Rhode Island from the United Colonies in New England. The government knew that the Narragansetts wouldn't just back down and they wouldn't go out without a fight.
To conclude today's podcast, the fight from the indigenous people may have not been enough to affect the thoughts and decisions of new colonists. After all the conflict that both sides experienced, the colonists progressively overruled the indigenous people. In each claim that Lucas and Nathan explained, which were Masson is a great place to settle and start a colony, the colonial leadership had officially banished Williams in October 1635 because of his new and dangerous opinions against the authority of the magistrates, and the Narragansett and colonial leadership had conflict while Williams was away. These solid claims will now conclude today's podcast. I would like to thank Lucas and Nathan for joining me today. And we will see you in the next one. Peace.
See ya. Bow.